Get ready to be ignited by the most inspiring personalities our continent has to offer. MTC's Masters of Success.
It is a pity, sir. Your brother Donatus is dead.
Dona is dead?
Yes.
Well, the thing is that the family has already declared him dead. So what do they want me to come and take his dead body? Tell him we dash them. Let them take this and bury him there.
Mazi, what he is saying is that you are the person who will inherit all the money and wealth of Dona.
Oh, wait. Dona tell them to give me his property. Wait. Oh,
these are the travel documents.
Oh. So what is the property? This is the property.
With this document, whenever you reach London and show it to them, they will know that you are the senior brother of Donatus, and all his money and all his wealth will become yours.
What is his property now? That is it motor or is it something? Not for you to come and say I should inherit his debt. If he's owing anybody, I will not pay.
Your brother Donatus was a rich man before he died. It must be in the neighborhood of millions of pounds.
See? Dona cannot have millions of pounds. And when my father died, he did not send £1. You see? Take this thing. Tell them you did not see me. They gave you coat and tie to come and convince me. Dona has millions. You see, it is not everybody that you can play your wayo and go free. Let me tell you, if Dona is owing and they want me to pay, I will never pay, not even a faden. So go and tell you the lawyer, whoever sent you, that I will not pay his debt.
Mazi OSUOFIA, with my level of education and exposure, I am convinced
that what happened
is not a fraud. For instance, this is traveling passport with which you will enter the plane, without which you can't even enter the airport. This is your air ticket, which shows that they have already paid money for you to enter the plane. You are not going to pay your own money again, even 10 kobo.
Wait.
And so many other documents inside here, including your brother's will, which bears your name as the person to inherit his.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage your host for this evening, Josie.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for joining us here once again at the National Theatre of Namibia. Now, first and foremost, on behalf of the entire Masters of Success team, we once again would like to congratulate our Democratic Republic and all Namibians alike on 25 years of independence. Now, the last time we found ourselves at this very same place, we were inspired by a beautiful and successful young lady from South Africa. Today, we shift focus, but nonetheless, inspiration will take place tenfold. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming to the stage the only actor in Africa to travel to London in a container. Please put your hands together for Mr. Nkem Owo. I'm sure we can see. Well, Mr. War, if you ever doubted that you have a fan base in Namibia, now you know. Now you know that we watch your movies.
Don't wake me up.
So welcome to Namibia first and foremost, and thank you so much for taking out the time to come and inspire most of the young people in our country, young and old alike, actually. Now, I trust your stay here has been well thus far.
Very, very much.
And we have a guarantee you will be coming back.
Yes, when I come back. In fact, I haven't even visited properly.
Right, let's kick off with the interview. We just watched a clip or an insert from the movie OSUOFIA in London. By the way, which one do you prefer? Should I call you OSUOFIA or Nkem?
All of the above.
All of the above. All right. So we see that, or for most of us movie lovers from the Nollywood film industry, we see that OSUOFIA in London is the movie that's used as the benchmark to determine where it is your career sort of jump-started. Let's start all the way back before OSUOFIA in London. How did you become actively involved in the acting industry or the film industry in Nollywood? And then, of course, the journey leading up to OSUOFIA and other movies.
All right. If I'll ask like an average African, I will tell you that I started from my mother's stomach. But actually, when I realized the comedy thing in me was when I was working with television. You see, when it is in you, it is in you. I've been trying to run away from coming to stage and acting. But the thing has been tugging at the sleeve of my mind that this is the line. Imagine when I pray, people laugh. And I take my prayers very, very seriously. So when all these things were coming and people were pressuring me, go in front of the camera, I said, oh, to go and do what? To go and become a jester? But that jesting is giving me money today. So, well, it started because I was working in a broadcasting organization. I had the opportunity of testing myself before I go and embarrass myself before the public. So, from there I started to work in the drama department, worked in the, well, script writing section because, as a matter of fact, on a higher scale I started as a writer. I write comedy, I write, well, funny things. So people were calling me to come and act. Then created in one television station, I think it was ATV then, a state television in my country, my state. And they cut out 10 minutes and they called it Star Comedian Corner. And they gave me every free hand to come and embarrass myself. And I took it up. I never knew where it was going. Because that is quite different from what I studied in the university.
Yes.
They walk opposite sides of the street. But I had to take it. I came and you know, when you start to venture into something, whether you're interested or not, and it begins to bring out this, you'll be more interested.
Of course. Of course. Now, you spoke about what it is you studied and what it is you were doing at the time are completely opposite.
That's right.
What's your educational background and how has that contributed to you becoming a successful actor?
Without even being educated, I wouldn't have been sitting down with you here.
That is true.
Yeah, so education is the basic. I've always advised people, if you want to enter into anything altogether, even if it is basket making, and you want to go higher in making basket or frying akara, go and get your certificate. Mm-hmm. I'm so confident now because even though I'm an engineer by certificate, I'm a show businessman by profession. So my certificate is in the box.
All right. So it's actually interesting to see that your academic life and your career choice are complete opposites, but they mesh so well, and they've contributed to you being as great of an actor as you are. Now, when you went to London, I have to ask this question. When you went to London, and you were catching those doves, and they were trying to take your doves from you, and all those weird things that happened in that police questioning room, what were some of the weirdest encounters you had when filming that movie in London, and also some of the opportunities that arose from filming the film in London as well?
Well, let me start from the segment you mentioned, where I was, where he was picking pigeons.
Yes.
I would say, well, and the police disturbance. If I'm not complaining, the pigeon is not complaining. What's the problem? So it was quite an experience, and I'm very happy I had such an experience. Even though we had some rigors, well, nothing comes easy. Uh-huh. We went through some normal process, and I had to freelance it at a stage. I wasn't following the rules.
Okay.
Because some of the things you see in London were very spontaneous. I see people who are running, I run after them. To them, this is an African madman. So you don't have to disturb him. Well, from there, even at Buckingham Palace, they were trying to draw me out. Don't go to Buckingham Palace. In fact, you may get us into trouble. The crew members, I said, look, just get me one small camera. face the camera towards where I'm going, forget what I'm going to do with them. I stayed there and shouted, and some of the policemen came out. When they were coming out, I've already anticipated what they were coming for. And I went straight to them and started asking them whether those people were trees or were human beings. Or they just stand like this. So there was nothing he could do. He laughed and took me to be that jester who is mad, who is coming from Africa. And with that, I stole my shoe and that went. It was quite an experience.
All right. Did you manage to sort of mingle and exchange ideas with actors from London as well? Was there an opportunity that arose when shooting the film in London?
Opportunity for me or for them?
Both.
Well, yes, we held an audition to tell you that we went from step A to step B, and they were all very much interested in acting this African movie. And that was what surprised me, because the impression I had before we went there was, we'll go there, we're going to beg the white man to come and, star in an African film. But surprisingly, when I went there, they were even begging to be given scripts so that they can audition. That impressed me so much. So with that level of mingling, that was the genesis of my mingling. So I later...
Well, we hope you don't reach your revelation of mingling just yet. Now, before we continue with so much more inspiration, because this interview is really about you passing on some knowledge regarding being a master of your own success, which is acting, being OSUOFIA, going to London in a container, and so forth. So before we get to all of that, we're going to take a quick breather, and when we get back, we get to find out about OSUOFIA, or rather Kim, the family man. Stay tuned.
Looking for a new car, sir?
Yes, I am actually.
Great! Are you looking for something fuel economy or sporty? Petrol, diesel, hybrid, front or rear wheel drive? Color, make, model?
Well, what I think I'm looking for is something like...
luxury sedans, SUVs, coupes, hatchbacks.
Maybe something
No, wait! Don't tell me. I know.
Yeah. MTC understands that too much choice can be overwhelming. So we simplified our packages to offer you the best in voice, data, and SMS.
Hey! This side first.
Bibiana!
Thank you, Jesus.
Amen.
Thank you, Jesus.
Amen.
Holy Ghost fire. Thank you, Jesus.
What is happening there, Bibiana?
In the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. I come against any contract that has come to distract, that has come to diminish. I ban and cast. I cast and ban. I cast and ban. Thank you, Jesus. In the name of Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. What is Jesus?
What am I hearing?
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Welcome.
Thank you, Jesus.
Amen.
Thank you, Jesus.
Audrey!
Thank you, Jesus.
What is happening here?
Thank you, Jesus.
Audrey!
Thank you, Jesus.
Hey! Hey! Hey!
No, he came to pray with me.
Really? He came to pray?
Heaven is great.
Oh, why would you heaven great? I saw you when you were saying thank you, Jesus. Jesus is great with your waist.
Mbani.
Yes! God is great. Christ is great for providing this waist for you. And you. Bibiana, you don't have shame. Oh. Look at the little baby that you have just put to bed the other day. The other birds haven't even gone in and you are not doing another anointing.
No, my husband, he came to pray with me.
It's not like that. Bibiana, are you well?
You've not been having
like that. Really? Who will pray? Does he know the road to the church? The person that you said pray for you?
No, John. I have been going to church, but you don't know.
Shut up! What is the ninth commandment?
Thou shalt not touch another person's property.
What is this? Whose property is this?
But I was not touching her.
You are not touching her. You are using other parts of the body other than your hand. Angie, in my house. In my house, Angie.
Not like that.
Angie!
It's not like
that. Heaven will fall today.
It's not like
no, don't worry.
Nai, what are you?
You will know exactly
what are you?
Well, thank you very much for enjoying that one. I must say, preparing for this interview was so much fun because I had to watch all of that over and over and over again. Now we continue, and the very first question that I have for you is, most of the movies that we've seen you in, you play the role of the family man, the father. You usually have a wife and children. Now, in real life, you do have a family as well. How has the success of your acting career influenced your family dynamics?
Well, positively, yes. I must tell you this. At times, you'll be so surprised at times. Well, some of my kids, my children, call me OSUOFIA. They don't even call me daddy. And I enjoy it. When we stay and they want to, naturally, I don't like watching my films because I am my own biggest critic.
Yes.
If you put my film, I'm not watching it the way you are watching it. I'm trying to say, oh, I should have done this in this way. And you will be angry with me. So, but when they come and then begin to give it to me, this person flanks me on the left. They said, and we were watching. They say, you're not going. We want you to stay and watch how you're making a foolery of yourself. Because they are funny in their own ways too. So I enjoy it. And it impacted on my family in a very positive sense because, one, it brings in this.
Yes.
And because of the encomiums I gather from people, if I'm moving with my family and these hailings and cheers, my family enjoy it. And because I've been into comedy, when I come home, I still make them laugh if I have the opportunity to do that. So I'm sure I can categorically tell you that they enjoyed it more than myself, and they reaped the benefit more than I'm doing.
So, in terms of your children, what are some of the perks that they say, you know, as I am OSUOFIA's daughter, I am OSUOFIA's son, as a consequence of that, there's certain perks and benefits that they enjoy. What are some of them that they've mentioned to you?
Well, they do such things. I mean, anybody whose father, I'm a Christian. Jesus Christ is my father. If you see the way I hail his name, you understand? So they would like to, you know, pose a little bit. My father is a star and all that. I don't deny them that.
Yes.
You know. But I also advise them for the thing not to get into their head so that they will not make the greatest mistake of their lives. Granted, your father is a celebrity, but you are not a celebrity. If you want to hang on the celebrity, you will fall. Yeah. So create your own celebrity route and pass your father.
All right, speaking of your family having so much pride in you as well, I'm sure each one of them have a specific moment in your career that they view as the proudest moment of you. What are some of those moments that they've mentioned or made mention to?
Well, it comes more during my birthdays. When I want to celebrate my birthday, which is not normally bankrolled by me, and it's always good. I explain everything to my family. This is where we can go and eat and drink profusely without apologies to anybody and without anything coming out of our back pockets. I know that they are proud of me, yes. They do some of those things. This is their father, and this is the way they give it to me at home. Father, you are, and they advise me a lot. My family, my greatest advisors. If I do a wrong thing and I come home, they will point it out and they will try to punish me. I won't tell you how they punish me, but they punish me for it. So I think generally I'm a very happy family man and I'm in love with my family and we're doing fine. And God is not looking behind. He's looking forward.
Of course. Now, Have any of your children expressed the desire to further an acting career or start an acting career? And if not, what advice can you give to any young person in the audience who wants to start an acting career from a father's perspective, but then also from an actor, a professional perspective?
Yes, I think some of my children, I could detect some of these pigments in them. But one thing I don't like to do is to bamboozle somebody into an area he or she doesn't feel comfortable with.
Yes.
So I allow my children to have the basic education first. Then, if you have that talent, I will help you develop that talent because I have seen it in you. I don't encourage people or my children to just follow my own way because I am here, where I am today. So I don't interfere in their own decision. If they have talent, they may have talent for other things.
Yes.
That is not acting. So I don't push them. And up till now, there's only one that indicated interest in music. I bought her all the equipment and said, hang on. Then all of a sudden, she changed and then went into medicine. So, and then for the youth, upcoming youth who want to make it in this entertainment industry generally, they have to persevere. You see, people are so much in a hurry to make this money. If it is your talent, you tarry a while. When you come into film industry, you stay there. You're going to take the negative and then the positive. So when you come, you're always expecting the positive end of it, which eventually translates into money. It doesn't come like that. But when you know that you don't have the talent, don't force it. So they should persevere. They should be more. This is an industry I never knew before I came into it. I never knew it takes what it is taking now. Because when you look at it from the outside, you will just feel people coming together. You bring camera in front of them. They do these things and then you go. So what's work? Are you telling me you're working? As a matter of fact, let me go back and give an instance. In those days, before we came into pioneering this industry, if you're an actor, well, you are useless, number one. If you are a footballer, well, they don't count you. You're a school dropout. If you are a musician, they will look for a psychiatric doctor for you. But now, we are reaping in the entertainment industry. I think the thing has gone to that very height where I have to tell people it is good. It is juicy in front. If you persevere, if you're industrious, if you do not jump around, you come, oh no, this thing is so tedious, you go to another thing, you will never get it.
Yeah.
Get focused. You will get there. Some say, OSUOFIA, they write text messages, I want to be like you. I say, you don't have an ambition. I mean, I was expecting it to be, I want to supersede you. In any case, you cannot be like me. If you have other things within the industry, I can help you project it. Be it music, be it drama, be it whatever it is, writing, script writing. As a matter of fact, I have a school where all these things are taught in school. So I encourage them in my own little way, and I think they're imbibing it.
All right. So our final question in this segment before we move on, what is the most difficult role you've had to play? And has it been difficult switching in between OSUOFIA and in Kim? Because if you have to play an angry husband like you did in the last clip with Apanga, do you go home with all that anger? Is it hard for you to let go of the anger? Or is it as simple as that? Do you have an alter ego, basically?
Well, I will tell you that the two things are divorced. If you do not divorce your professional, you're from foolery. But that's what we call it. They call me the head of the idiots in Nigeria. And you do not have to come outside. We do it on stage, fine. Put it into, they process it and then package it and let them have it, publish it. But I always say that there is a difference between being a star and then managing your stardom. And in fact, the latter oftentimes is more difficult than being a star. It can hit you, stardom, by all of a sudden. But how to manage it is another thing. I think I've been managing my own well above average, or even average.
Mm-hmm.
When they hail me, I don't go snobbing. I accommodate them. They ask me questions. If I have the time, I answer. But at times, they misconstrue a lot of things. People will now begin to equate you. That man, that stupid man I'm seeing on screen,
yes,
he's now outside. To them, to most of them, he's still a stupid man, even though he's not on television. And they give you that impression. Imagine, maybe I'm passing through somewhere, maybe on the street. I just want to go shopping, and somebody stays probably taking a bottle of beer at the side of this, and I call me, OSUOFIA, come and greet me. It happens. And I will turn and look at the person. It hurts at times. And I look at the funny figure asking me to come and I know that if that person is sold on credit, I will buy him 10 times. But that management of your stardom, you have to cool down, you have to smile, you have to be courteous and wave them, and then go on.
Mm-hmm.
So I relate with them very, very well, and it makes me happy that they relate with me very well.
It's interesting to see that he is as funny on camera as he is in real life. It's rather relieving, actually, because we didn't want a situation where OSUOFIA was a bit down when he came here. So thank you very much for that. Now, I did say that when I was preparing for this interview, that the most fun part was the research that I had to do on Kemo's acting career. Take a look at what it is I stumbled upon on one very cold Friday evening.
Confusing, like today, a day when a man might be anything else but a hunter.
I have to remember them to fight. Push up my buttocks so that I can balance.
I wish OSUOFIA would have preferred on this very night.
Wait. You people for putting me down. I'm going to shoot one of you.
Papa, Mama is waiting for meat at home. Big meat, sir.
Huh?
Big meat.
Big meat. Big meat. I don't blame you. You are big enough. Maybe it is you that I will kill and give your mama so that you will have the pot will full. We will use drone to cook soup. If it is not soup, can't your mother cook another thing? Or even find another way of putting something there? Everybody will have to wait for me. School fees, you have to wait for me. Even to cook, they wait for me. Go to farm, they wait for me. Come on, get up, let us go. Oh. Okay, sit down on the ground. Let me go and tell your mother where you are. And I'm sure it is one of you that has been bringing this bad luck. I don't know whether all of you came from me. How can I for 1 week? Nothing. Who am I have to tell me who impregnated for some of these people? Don't simple, something that came from my father. In my family, we don't have people who are...
Well, big meat, now you know where that phrase comes from. So the next time you use it in your household, just remember, OSUOFIA made a promise to put the daughter in the pot after that. Right, so this part of the interview is where we really get it to tap into your fountain of wisdom as a master of your acting success. And the very first question is actually a question asked by most people on social media. We've seen that people who are in acting or musicians, like you said, hopefully not needing psychiatric evaluation, or famous people generally, tend to be amidst a lot of temptation. Drugs, alcohol, big African women, all of it can sometimes pose a threat to one's concentration and one's determination when pursuing an acting career. How have you managed to stay away from giving in to temptation as a very well-known actor?
Well, I tried to do, apart from the last one you made mention, I don't want to answer that one, but let me answer the others. Because I will be contradicting myself if I mention that. Well, how do I start? What was your question again?
Have you ever been tempted? Have you ever been tempted? I'm sure as an actor you go to a lot of parties with drugs and alcohol.
Yes,
and the
that was what I was
one...
saying about packaging yourself.
Yes.
If you begin to behave the way you are doing on screen, then you're either mad or foolish. And you're just a foolish man that got lucky. So you have to comport yourself in public in the first instance, so that people do not begin to regard you as that man they see on television. Mm-hmm. At times I get embarrassed, yes. I'm not somebody who like to meet crowd when I'm not ready for the crowd. Mm-hmm. Probably I'm doing a private business, I'm going on my own shopping or wherever, my business, and people are crowding me. It makes me very, very uncomfortable. If I tell you I'm shy in that angle, believe me. So most of the time you find me not being in the open where a lot of other people are.
Okay.
It's one of the sacrifices I have to make for being a star. Those were times I remember when I was coming up, I could stay on the main road when I'm pressed. I unzip my dissing and then do it there. But I dare not do that now. I tried it on one. I was on a bus and we were going far north. And I was so much pressed, we stopped at that very junction. I was so pressed, I wanted to just go and have a pee. I was running from one touch house to go to the back. You know, I don't want people to see me. By the time I went, so I was trying to unzip. I looked back, see the crowd. The thing went off. So that is to the extent where you have to hold yourself, or the kind of sacrifice you have to make, because you are a star. So it's not all negative, all positive. It has its left and it has its right. But I think I try to manage my own the best way I can.
And speaking about motivating actors or those pursuing an acting career, what kind of morals, principles, and values do you think are important to adopt as an actor to be able to become successful?
I have a school. Anyone who wants to know this knowledge should come to my school and pay school fees. Well, I advise them, for those of them who have the bravado to meet me, they will tell you, I always advise taking the bearing from my own experiences. Mm-hmm. Because, well, God put me into one of those people who started this Nollywood in Nigeria, even though I wasn't bulky. But I am one of the pioneers. So they come to me. And my ambition was not just, or it still is, not just to go there and make money. I want to leave footprints on the sand of time. And I take my time, even if it's on phone, and I'm less busy, to explain and give the person the advice the much I can. Yes. I do it, I give them encouragement. And those who come to school, we teach all those things together. And that's a part of my giving back to the society, what they have given to me.
Now, what are some of those things you give? Even if it's just for free, give us a discount and just tell us some of the things that you tell aspiring actors to concentrate.
Number one, I give scholarships. In my school, yes, I have given 2 people from Liberia, 2 from Cameroon, 1 from Equatorial Guinea, scholarship in my school. They studied free of charge. And I've also, now when you have a school, that means you want to build people up. I have some films that I produce myself, that I own myself, looking at that group who cannot struggle and get that role to become a star. I create films for them, so that it is an upcoming thing. I don't put stars there. I just bring some of those ones who come for audition, who are upbringing, and there's no star there, and they're making it. And now most of them are big stars, both the male and female, who I have encountered in my life. So I think these are the ways, some of those that I give scholarships to. Apart from, giving people scholarship in my school. I have somebody who is in theater arts in UNN under my scholarship too. So even if you don't go to my school, I try my own little ways. It's not as if I have that money, but you have to create an impact.
Yes, of course. Now, before you could inspire anybody, there needed to be a point where you had to be inspired as a person. Who are some of the international actors or just international persons that have inspired you greatly throughout your life?
I like some of the good artists, both home and abroad. But I will tell you that my inspiration comes from the things that happen around me, honestly. If you watch my movies, I have never imitated anybody. Because things happen around me, I try to gather all those things. They're very funny. What you do in a day, if somebody should be following you with a secret camera, you will laugh yourself off in the night when you watch yourself. So I bring all these things together. Actually, people around me give me very great inspiration. I like some artists. There are some that are my idol, but I don't think they influence me more or that much in my own career. I grab from them, I imbibe something from them.
Yes.
But I try to indigenize it and make it my own.
What is the most important lesson, or what are some of the most important lessons you've learned from other actors in the Nollywood film industry?
Oh, a lot. A lot. I don't think I can even begin to name them one by one. When you are acting with somebody, people do not know the extent at which drama acting goes. They bring somebody that you're supposed to pair with, and the person brings out his or her inner self, which you haven't even noticed, you haven't seen before. Even the person wouldn't know. I had a film, Ikuku, I think I called it Ikuku. The most gentle man we had in the industry then, I brought him out to do comedy. He said, no, no, I'm not cut out for comedy and all that. I said, no, don't worry. I wrote something for you that will make that thing you're doing comic. He came in a serious manner. He was supposed to be a chief priest to an oracle. Not by his own making, because he's a doctor. But for the fact that he is a very strict man who is educated, he was giving orders to the oracle. Oracle, yes, they forced me to come and be your priest. I must have a bank account first. I must have all, if it were now, they would say, I like your email and all your files. You cannot ask that of an oracle. And people were laughing because he was seriously saying it without knowing that he has that comic trait in himself. So you act with somebody, you see the true person in your relationship as per the stage with the person. If the person comes off stage, he's another person. But that inner self of that person, it has shown me, it has taught me a lot of things, this industry, I must confess. So I relate with people. I imbibe a lot from people, however small.
Of course.
They impact me in any way. Like we are sitting down now. You're influencing me badly.
All right, so I'm just going to take a breather from that one for a second. Now, what is, according to you, your most important achievement? The one that stands out, the one where you got to thinking, I've made it now as an actor. I'm no longer just OSUOFIA, I am now Mr. OSUOFIA, the king of Nollywood. Which was that one moment or that one achievement in your acting career?
Well, if I should call that my excitement for being there is an achievement, what makes me know that I have achieved things? I think that's the question.
Yes.
To realize that I have achieved something. When they started with the DSTV, the Nollywood channel, African Magic, whenever they were to do my thing, and they just started, I would go to the balcony. The whole world living just a big street, so that I will listen how people are laughing in their houses. So if the laughter is higher, I have achieved higher. So well, other means the encomium, encouragement people, the way they talk to me, the way they give me that encouragement, keep it up. Of course, I will know that I'm doing the right thing if people are saying keep it up. If I were an armed robber, nobody would say keep it up.
All right. I'm sure you've received also a lot of, or won a lot of awards at award ceremonies as well, both continentally. Have you won any international awards? And if yes, can you highlight
That's right. I won in London. They called it, sorry, I can't remember it now. But I won the Best Actor Africa in London then, yes.
That deserves a round of applause. Any other awards, any other prestigious
I've won
awards?
a lot of, but all those laurels, the one I appreciate more is appreciation from people around me. Not the award or the paper certificate and all that. In fact, there was so much in my place that one of my kids, I think it was one of my award that broke his leg. It was made of thick wood, very heavy. So I appreciate the encomiums people give to me naturally when I'm with them than any prize you could say. But prize, I am happy. It shows that people are recognizing what you're doing, and I'm happy about it.
Right, now lastly, before we end off this segment, most people argue that acting itself cannot be considered a lucrative career, not like being a doctor or being an accountant or being a teacher. But we've seen from success of actors such as yourself that it is indeed possible. However, sometimes an actor can be a little bit insecure and think, it's possible for OSUOFIA, but it's not possible for me. Why do you think that acting or the film industry in itself should be considered as lucrative as any other industry in society?
It's even more lucrative than many. You see, I gave an example when I was starting, and I said, if you were a footballer, or a musician, and all that, people traditionally will not recognize, they don't take it as a profession. But I'm sure now, people have kids, the first thing present they give on the birthday is football.
Yes.
So that you can play and make money. So people are now beginning to realize that this thing contributes a lot in the making not only of an individual, but a country. Because in my country, I'm happily and proudly saying that we contributed. Some of you might have heard it in financial news. Some percentage in the GDP of my country. And the president was very happy, went to Jerusalem, and they were hailing the Nollywood people without us knowing what we were doing. We didn't know we were contributing. So this industry, I think it's even the most viable because you do not have to quarrel with people for promotion. Your promotion is here. So the industry is big, and I encourage anybody who has the talent or who has the zeal to pursue it, to persevere, follow it through. You must achieve something. You must get something out of it. It's a lucrative business.
We've heard it from the master of success of acting himself, Mr. Nkem Owo. Now we're going to take a quick breather, and when we get back, we'll talk to OSUOFIA, or rather Nkem, about social responsibility and hear from him regarding advice on how to be an upstanding citizen of any country on the African continent. Welcome back to the second edition of the Masters of Success here at the National Theatre or Arts Theatre of Namibia. Now, this last segment is meant to highlight your opinion on some of the most interesting issues affecting Africans on a daily basis. And I'm going to start with the very first one that has affected a lot of Namibians, and I'm sure a lot of Africans as well. And it's this phenomenon known as passion killing or violence against women, sometimes even men and children. What do you think is the number one mistake made in terms of our approach in dealing with issues of a violent nature?
I detest violence. I don't like it. So anything that is associated with violence, I don't like it. That's why I'm apolitical in my country now. I don't belong to any political party. It's not as if I don't have politics in me. But because of our culture and a lot of things that surround politics generally, I try to remove myself from politics. We say the culture of a people is what determines the people. That is your identity. If you watch most of my films, I always try to put African culture because I cannot give the world glamour more than they have already seen. So it is the values, the African value that I appreciate more, and that's what I project more, and that's what I would want Africans to look at. When you're doing this, we are transferring technology. I don't think there's any technology that is bigger than transferring your culture, letting the world know that, be aware of your existence. I was giving somebody an example. I said Chinese colonize the world with just food. Any place you go is Chinese restaurant everywhere. I became like an identity or a culture of a people. So anything that has to do with the culture, I have to bring out, export the culture of Africans in a positive sense. I agree we have to lace it with the one that we imbibe from Western influence. But we still have to retain that root of our culture. I preach it almost everywhere I go. People, some of our children outside there are losing their identity because you don't belong to up, you don't belong to down. Because where you are doing, they will indigenize you. They will you can naturalize whichever country. You can indigenize, you cannot culturalize. Your culture is the basic identity, and that is where people will respect you. If I want to go and imitate the West in what they are doing, I'll be a second class. You can never do it and give it that value. They have given it because it is part of their culture, or it started from their culture, or their culture influenced whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So African culture is very, very important to me, and probably any other person. I encourage people to, if you're even doing music, if you're doing drama, whatever you're doing, put a little bit of culture, local content of your culture. Your culture is not wonderfully bad, but people give that very impression that our culture is so bad. Well, we knew why and how it started, but I think we have grown of age, and we're beginning to do things our own way, and I will always encourage it to be ourselves. I'm proud to be an African, and I see it everywhere. I go outside the country, you bring me these things that they use hand to swallow. You bring your cutlery, I'll put it aside. Even if Obama was there, I'll be eating with my bare hand. Because it is me.
Yes.
So I love my culture. I try to project my culture. And in fact, what was at the back of my mind or what normally comes to the back of my mind in any African country I travel was to go and probably help in projecting the culture. But surprisingly, most of the African countries I have visited, I found similarities in our culture.
Yes.
It impressed me so much. So I found that I didn't have to do much work. Your culture is related to my own culture. It is our culture. Mm-hmm. So let us see how we're going to cook it so that the white man will like it.
Our very final question for tonight, unfortunately, time has run out. If there is the one thing that you want your legacy to represent once you leave this earth, what should it be and why?
That's a tough one. I want to leave a lot of legacies, but she's saying one. let me still stick to what I said earlier. Even if I die, and I'm no more, which is not in the near future, I would want, even in my grave, for people to say, when this man was alive, I want to live that thing. Instead of just living, being happy, make money, enjoy yourself, and die off. You become a waste to the society. So I would want that situation where, even if I'm gone, people will still be talking about me. That's why I set up the school. That's why I give all the advices I give. That's why I insist on doing films that have positive values more than the negative values. So I want to leave footprints on the sand of time. That's my greatest ambition.
And we hope you really do. We can agree that you're far well on your way in doing so. Mr. Owo, thank you so much for coming to Namibia. We hope that you come back again for an even longer session next time, and hopefully you get to tour the country and see some of the people as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately...
No, please, before you end, you asked the question. You said whether I will come back to Namibia.
Yes.
Yes, definitely I will come back to Namibia. I have not landed. If not for anything, my appreciation, the way Namibians accommodate visitors. Fantastic. There was somebody, right from Johannesburg, the Namibians that I met there was one Namibian gentleman who met, he was almost like helped myself and my colleague through all the check everything in the airport. Please, is he here? Kelly. That gentleman was, well, I'm just saying his name now. We went through the diplomatic channel, so he's not a small man. So he has diplomatic passport. Then, team of the MTC. You see, because of the way, the perception I had when I was talking to them on phone, it's like he came through the air. That this is the color of MTC, am I right? It is the color. So you can say the thing was matching. God was joining it together as I was coming. So I like to thank a lot of the people that I've met. I met one minister today, I was surprised. We were all eating the native food. And when they said, the minister, I said, minister, probably it's the nickname. But when I met him and we started talking, the aura around him alone showed me that this is a personality. And in fact, I started trying to grab one or two things from his profile. I also learned that he's even a general. I said, you would have put me into trouble. Probably I wouldn't have known how to address you. So I thank you all. I'm very happy to be here. Well, one other thing. Sorry. I keep prolonging.
We are running out of time, but we will have plenty of opportunity for you to interact with the fans. That is not left in doubt. Don't worry about that. Now, unfortunately, the Masters of Success second edition has come to an end. But I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out to come and support and, of course, learn and tap into his fountain of wisdom and try and elevate yourself to becoming your own Master of Success. Do make a date with us on Sunday on NBC television. That is at 8:45 p.m. to watch a repeat of this edition of the Masters of Success. And keep your eyes on the media, preferably the Namibian Sun newspaper, as hints of our next Master of Success will be coming out very soon. All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We will be having a photo session with OSUOFIA on Kim outside, but it will be controlled, so calm down. And of course, I do wish you guys all a splendid evening. From the entire Masters of Success team, thank you and good night.
Thank you.
Get ready to be ignited by the most inspiring personalities our continent has to offer. MTC's Masters of Success.